just show off a little bit. It's not a big deal.
Tiffany,
Okay.
welcome to the platform.
Thank
I
you.
want to jump right into this and talk about this amazing film, Jezebel, that you're starring in, which pretty much is introducing you, to Hollywood and to this magnanimous world of acting. You're going to join, a tapestry of so many talented actresses and Black actresses.
Sure.
This film is definitely your entree. It's semi-autobiographical, directed and executive produced by Numa Perrier, someone very dear to me, acquired by Ava DuVernay, and won top honors, at South by Southwest, which is amazing. So talk to me a little bit about Jezebel, your characters. Well, actually, your character's name is Tiffany.
Yeah.
Hey, girl,
I know, right?
yeah,
It's still mind-blowing to me. I mean, that's just a sign to how Numa and I both believe that it was divinely orchestrated. Really, how we found each other, how it came on board. I was observing Numa from afar. I've been a huge fan of just her platform with her work with Black and Sexy TV. I was yes, I was able to see a few of her short films, and that is what really, really just like made me draw close to her, because I just really noticed her keen eye and her just like how meticulous she was, and how she just like reveled in some of the more choir moments that most people probably will skip over. It was a moment in one of her short films that a woman was like undressing herself with her bra. Like, to me, I just marveled at that, because I think women's sensuality and just the normal things that women we do, whether it's you putting your hat on as you are, or me dressing myself, I think that's beauty in that. And Numa really captured that in all her films. So I showed up to an event that she was hosting, and I didn't know she knew me, I'll say that. But I showed up, and she was hosting an event for some of her short films. And she talked a lot about herself, and she talked about her being adopted. And I'm telling you, when she said that, that was just everything to me, because I also am adopted. And I kind of had compunction. That's just the beginning. It's so much that really just merge us together and make it seem as though it was like a divinely orchestrated.
I tell you, when I saw the both of you together earlier this year, on the red carpet at the Independent Spirit Awards, there was just this beautiful energy just moving between the both of you together. It's like you guys work in concert like really well. It was just so beautiful. And I said, I've got to interview Tiffany.
Oh, thank you.
Like by yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. So like a little bit more about,
Okay. So at that same event, like I said, I had compunction towards being adopted for whatever reasons, but I raised my hand and I just expressed to her what that meant for me, for her to be brazen about sharing her story, sharing her truth in front of this array of audience members. I just thought it was so brave, and how vulnerable she got with us. Afterwards, I just connected with her again, and I just re-emphasized which, her work meant to me, and just that moment meant to me. And she revealed, actually, I'll keep going. Like, the next day, part of the reason I was going to meet her was to kind of shoot my shot a little bit.
Good.
I mean, that's what we do when we admire and marvel with these beautiful goddesses.
You gotta advocate for yourself, girl.
Yeah, exactly. Who else is going to do it? As you know, this is my feature film debut. So, I mean, I wanted, maybe she was the one, whether it's Black and Sexy or whatever, her short films, I just wanted to work with her. I just really approached her as an artist. And I shared with her that I was in a film called Rubato by a great director named Erica Watson out of USC. She's done a lot of great things. But I shared with her that I was in a film that she will be moderating the next day, an array of short films. Yeah.
Oh.
And she was like, wait, you're that girl? Wait, I think I have a role for you. She said that right then and there. And she was like, wait, take my number. Here. I was just like, whoa, this never happens. I don't know what you're doing, God, but this is not normal,
I have goosebumps now.
And then it was like a year and a half later, she reached out to me, and she was just like, hey, Tiffany, I got a role for you. And I'm like, oh my God, it was still such a shock. I'm just like, whoa, what? Didn't even audition or anything. So yeah, she sent me the script, and course, it was Jezebel as we know now.
Okay, what did you think of the script? Like reading it?
Okay, so it was.
I mean, I love I love talking to actresses. I love you guys so much. It's like getting that. Okay, it's one thing to read it on the paper, right, on the page, but getting it off of the page.
Yes, getting it off the page. It literally was only a few pages. It wasn't even a full script that we know as it is now. It was literally maybe 10 pages.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I know. And the first thing, my first reaction, to be honest with you, was just like, I was a little alarmed and taken aback because of the name Jezebel. And I mean, you're a Black woman, so I'm sure you know what that name means and all the.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so it comes with a lot of package. And as a Christian, and as really, my family was really Bible thumping growing up, I knew exactly what Jezebel meant in the Bible, in its connection with the Bible, and just how don't be a Jezebel and all that stuff. But yeah, that was the first reaction of just like, okay. I mean, I knew how vulnerable and sultry and just how Numa wore her sexuality on her sleeve. So I knew that bit, but I'm like, okay, this might be on the lines of something with sexuality. So I just delved more into the script, and I'm telling you, within the first few pages, when I saw that relationship between the sisters, I said yes without even knowing what she was going to have me doing, without even reading the rest of the script. I said yes because I have a sister. And my sister means everything to me. Just relationships with sisters in general is something I truly cherish.
Yeah. I have a younger sister too.
Yeah.
And, your sister becomes your sister's your first friend.
Yeah. And she becomes,
as Numa, a very intimate relationship.
Yeah. As Numa states often, sisters can also take on the role of a caretaker. It could take on my sister spanked me one time, and my sister's only 1 year older than me. And she, the disciplinary. That's so funny. She spanked me with a dustpan at 5. I was 4 years old, and she was 5, and her little self spanking me. But I love my sister. But yeah, so in regards to like the divinely orchestrated piece of it, so I saw the characters. The character's name on paper was not Tiffany at the time; it was Tanya.
Oh.
But it wasn't until Numa and I sat down and had a lunch to discuss the script. She revealed that she wanted to, she's going to change the name to Tiffany. I'm sure Numa will talk more about this, but she was adopted as well, as we said. Legally, her adopted parents named her. They changed her name from Numa to Tiffany. So Tiffany is also her name. That's also near and dear to her.
You guys are blowing me back.
Girl, it's God. It's all God. Glory to Him. But literally, like, and also our birthdays are days apart. We share a lot of the same.
Birthday?
December 6th.
And when's Numa?
And Numa's, I believe, it's December 14th. 14th or 14th. For sure, it's 14th. I'm thinking 12 or 14. I think it's the 14th. Yeah, but just the same sign. We have a lot of the same. Or just our aura is very similar to a lot of things.
Now there were a lot of very intimate scenes. The one scene particularly that struck me at the very beginning of the movie, which kind of really brought tears to my eyes, is when, Numa's character is dressing you and putting the wig on you. I felt so raw and so exposed.
Just hearing that right now makes me emotional, because I just know what that scene meant to both of us, and to showcase that on, for audiences, to showcase that of Black women just in general loving each other in such a tender way, not necessarily, we have to be tough for each other and give tough love, but it was a tender love that we really don't often see in cinema. And also we shot that in one take. So it, it was just all of it. We were just laying it out.
Wow. That's pretty remarkable. Now, given your background, as a Christian, working through some of those scenes, because you spoke about Numa and how she wears her sensuality, her sexuality on her sleeve. Numa and I kind of mirror each other in that way. I'm a very sensual and sexual woman. I
already see it. It's fabulous.
I believe in femininity, and it's often how Numa and I express ourselves is always often up for debate. It's always critiqued. How did you, as an actress, in your natural skin and your natural environment, your natural ecology of how you move in the world, how did that brush up against your character and how, open she eventually became? I understand it was a lot of her openness and her vulnerability was out of pain, and hurt.
And coping, she
Right.
was coping with the loss of her mom.
Yeah, which was huge. Um, but how did that brush up against you, and how are you able to like really put you over here and then walk into Tiffany, aka Jezebel, walk into that experience?
Well, first of all, I like to say with all my characters, I like to bring a piece of me. It always stems from deep inside of me. And Numa and I, like I said, we share our background is so similar, so it was a little easier. But I feel as though I said this before, but this role really it enabled me. I had a coming of age with Tiffany, Jezebel. I had a sexual awakening with her. I was someone. Okay, I was someone who used to like really like just like, conceal myself growing up. It's definitely part of the religious background, but also
Right.
because of these weird guys who were just hitting on my friends and my sister at such a young age. And I didn't want that type of attention. I didn't want to feel like I was, being a Jezebel, because as you know, society likes to blame the young girl for
Right.
how she dresses or how she carries
Yeah.
herself naturally.
Yeah.
Being her for other people or men in this
For gays. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I always had it inside of me, but I kept repressing it. But
Right.
with Jezebel, I was finally able to like just rise up and just emerge and just like, you know what, here I am. I've been hiding this for years and I'm ready to let it out. And
I
I'm just,
love that.
yeah, it was
that.
just such a gift. Like even sometimes when Numa was directing me, she's like, okay, calm down. Not too much, not too much. Like, you don't understand. I've been waiting for this. I had to suppress my sexuality so much and just hide the sensuality, like auditions, for example, or just other things I played. I've always had to be the strong person and I couldn't have
You're
those
a
tender.
woman.
Yes.
And the very fact that you're a woman means you are sensual.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with letting that work for you.
Yes.
Just your very presence, just the elegance and eloquence of being a woman.
Yes.
You have to allow that to just go before you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's
There's
absolutely
nothing wrong with it. And please do not allow society, do not allow the patriarch to put you in a corner, in a box about how you should move and how you should represent yourself.
Yes, especially as a Black woman.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't, you know how it is. I don't like to cast myself in the victim role. I lived in that space and we're no longer there. But definitely I walked through life as a victim in the past of the idea of like letting other people decide how I show up in the world.
No.
I'm beyond that. And as even like I said, as a Black woman, especially we have to like we see Beyonce, we see Rihanna, we see Megan Thee Stallion. Like yes, we can.
And before that, girl, I mean,
yes.
You have great shows and Pam Grier.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you cannot. This is beautiful.
It is. And like I said, with Jezebel, I had a coming of age. I had a sexual awakening where I was just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do with my body. And even with the press that we did early in the year, it even showed up in how I dress. Like in the past, I wouldn't really wear clothes that clinched too tight on my curves because I just thought my hips were too distracted. But now, I mean, you can see some of my things on my IG. I relish in it. I'm like, you know what, this is it. And you can accept that if you want. But I accept
one life to live.
Yeah.
Live it. You have one life to live it.
I say that all the time. We have one journey here. You got to go. Do your thing. So,
yeah. So what's, working with Numa Perrier, first of all, how many days did you guys shoot this? What was the shooting calendar?
Just 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And the moment that I got the script, within like 2 weeks after that, we were shooting. So we didn't have a lot of time to prepare or anything. We did our table read like a couple of days later. It was so quick. And sometimes I was sad because I'm like, no, I don't want it to happen so quick. I don't want this to end. But you know what? It didn't matter. We just lived in the moment. Even when we were shopping for wardrobe.
What did you learn working with her on set?
I really appreciate how she's really careful. She doesn't overshoot. She really practices restraint. And I just love that about her so much, because we can get in our head as actors sometimes. And she didn't let me look at the footage, so I didn't know what was happening.
You didn't have the dailies?
Oh yeah, she definitely was looking, but I wasn't allowed to look.
Oh, wow.
Because she's an actress. Numa's a great actress, and she knows that actors, at times, we can get in our head and we can just be too precious about a take and want to, do too much. So I really learned restraint in my performance. I learned to settle in the work. The first day I got on set, I remember a moment where I was overcompensating a little bit. I was pushing, and she said, she stopped the table. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I have to show that this is happening. She's like, no, you don't. You got the role for a reason. You don't got to prove yourself. Just relax.
Oh, wow.
She gave me that gift. And I used to play a lot of supporting roles, and it's okay because every single character matters, right? Yep. But as playing those supporting characters to the main protagonist, you don't feel seen all the time, right? You don't feel like you get that attention or like direction, and you have to figure things out for yourself. So coming from that space, I came onto the set, I guess, pushing, because I guess I was still in the mindset of not being seen, but Numa saw me. She gave me all the attention.
Wow. Amazing, Tiffany. So, coming of age as a young woman, who are some of the actresses that you looked up to, that you admire? Who was it for you that stopped you dead in your tracks, when they came on the screen?
Angela Bassett. Absolutely. Wow. Angela Bassett. I mean, I've seen like all her movies, and I remember being very young seeing a movie I probably shouldn't have been seeing, but What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, yeah. That was a lot for you.
I know. It was so great, and the drama and everything, but just like her sexuality, what I admire so deeply, even though I couldn't really communicate that, or was scared to communicate that, I just loved how she owned it. I love the tone, the strength in her body. And yes, and just like her stillness, and like how she could just give you a look and you can understand. She don't need words to communicate an expression. I just relish in that, like, so much, in her. And I remember there was a time when Angela Bassett was doing a speech. It was Oprah's, I think, her 50th or 40th or 50th birthday bash. It was like a huge deal. And Angela Bassett got up and spoke, and she said, okay, sorry. Sorry. Okay. So she said, and she said, parents, when your daughter look at you and say she wants to be an actress, you believe them. And I'll never forget that moment, because I was so young, but I looked at my mom and said, gee, this is what I want to, this is what I want to do. And I was such a young age, and I didn't know why I got so emotional, but I knew in that moment that I could do it too, so Angela Bassett always would be one of my favorites. I guess as an adult now, like it definitely is still her, but it shifts between people or artists really who navigate not only spaces of acting, but also navigate in their own business, navigate like their own production companies and directs, writers, who really are just taking charge of their life and making a table for themselves. I really like people like that, and such Viola Davis, of course.
Oh, Viola Davis is remarkable. Tiffany, it's our time.
Yes.
It's our time.
Yes, it is.
You got to believe that, and you got to know that, and you got to keep it in your system, and you always have to, in those moments where you feel like you don't have anything to bring to the canvas, because it does happen, you have to find those sources of inspiration.
Yes, especially right now. Sorry. Yeah. Especially right now, we're in a pandemic.
Air conditioner going, it like bothers me. I'm trying to stay cool. but you always have to find those sources of inspiration for yourself. And, sometimes it's in looking at, old films of, those actresses that you admire. Sometimes it's looking at your own tape, of some of your previous products, um, films, you know,
I
sometimes it's just writing affirmations. Sometimes it's referring to a biblical scripture. Sometimes it's opening up one of your favorite books or a new book. Sometimes it's buying flowers for yourself or treating yourself
oh,
bar.
look.
Always have to find
They're not real, but they're real to me.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so
Always have to find ways to keep yourself encouraged and inspired. During these COVID times, COVID-19 has definitely shifted the landscape. How have you been able to just maintain your mental health and your emotional health? Like, what have you been doing to help keep yourself solid in these most uncertain times?
oh, what a beautiful question. I actually just showed you some of the flowers I bought from the 99-cent store. Just simple things as that. I don't go outside. I really honor the whole lockdown thing, but just surrounding myself with beauty, like even simple things like this wallpaper I got from the
this wallpaper behind pretty remarkable.
Thank you. I love beautiful things. I love intimate, beautiful things. And this is just something I got from the dollar store, just surrounding myself with beauty. Yeah, I mean, I wish you could see all the quotes I have all around my room. I love quotes. I love Bible scriptures. I've been really just surrounding myself in my faith. That idea of, yes, seek first the kingdom of God and all things should be added to you. But also, what is it? Walk by faith, not by sight.
On sight.
And yes, and in times like this.
Reminded me of that.
Yes.
It reminded me of that. Yeah.
Please carry that with you, because this is really startling times. Like it's just, this is scary. It can be scary. It's not all scary, because I feel like a lot of beautiful things are birthed out of this. But it's just important to hang on to those things, as you said, like scriptures, books, whatever it is, to keep you grounded. Literally just the other day, I was curled up in my bed, bawling my eyes out. And then I remembered, I'm like, no, I am a child of God. I know that there's greater for me. Like, I don't have to worry. And so, yeah, you take your moment, but you pick yourself up and just like, okay, let me find my inspiration.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Tiffany, what is your role of a lifetime?
So many. Okay, well, one that I was working on, I actually tucked away because I'm just like, oh, I have to come back to it. I really want to play, oh, did I just forget her? No, what is Queen's name? She's the first Black pilot, Bessie Coleman.
Oh, wow.
Because so many people don't know who she is. And yes, people get excited about superheroes and Black Storm, and Storm is amazing. But but that's okay. I think she's a superhero. I really admire superheroes within the everyday woman. And Bessie was an everyday woman in the early 1900s who made something out of herself.
Bessie Coleman.
Yes, the first Black pilot to ever get a license. And she wasn't even accepted here in America, so she had to travel to France to get her pilot's degree. A lot of people know about the Amelia Earhart, but guess what? Bessie actually came first, but she
of course
was overlooked.
Surprised of that, and you taught me something. I don't think I knew.
And that's why I want to tell this story, because I feel like some people do, but I want to bring her story to the forefront. And she's another unsung superhero, and like I said, I want to play her.
Wow. If you were to be a part of an ensemble cast of 5 amazing Black women, including yourself, who would be in that ensemble cast?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so including myself, so I only have 4 more to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ingenue Ellis.
Oh!
Ingenue Ellis!
I love Ingenue. I love Ingenue. You know what? I'm gonna reach out to her team. Thank you.
Let me just tell you about Ingenue Ellis. I love her so much because of the authority she carries within her work. She is an artist. You can tell, just like, I just feel like she just like takes a script and just like rips it up and just goes into the dirt, pull out every root and just bring just rawness to it. And I feel like she is a little unsung too. I mean, she's been doing great, but I want to see her more. And I really want her to play my mother. So we're gonna put that in the universe.
Yeah.
Because I want to be like, that's the person I admire. So
Gamma right there.
yes, and she looks.
Yeah.
But of course, Viola Davis.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a masterclass, and Angela Bassett.
Wow.
So I just want to be amongst like these badass, mature women, and I just want to just marvel at them. And I don't know what
All right, so you got to throw someone. You got to throw one of your contemporaries in there.
Oh, okay.
Ellen, the Angela Bassett. You gave me Viola Davis.
I want to work with Lupita. I want to work with Lupita. And also, you know what? I'll bring my sis Numa into it. Because I do, yeah. Yeah, I want to work with her again.
Yeah, love Lupita. Love Numa too.
Yeah.
So good.
I just like, my thing is, it's not about the fame for me. You know, it really isn't. It's about making work that matters. It's about leaving an everlasting impact on
audiences. But always get paid your worth, though.
Oh, honey, we're not going to play that game. Oh, we're not going to play that game. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to work for free.
Yeah, no, I just have to like, throw that in there.
Yes. Okay. Always get paid my word.
Yeah. Get paid with your word. And then some. Yeah.
Okay. And that's what's exciting, that the idea about making your own table, which is like, you build your own. I mean, people give Tyler Perry a lot of stuff, whatever reason. If that's not your jam, that's not your jam. But as a businessman,
he did the damn thing. He's got a studio. He's got a studio, Tiffany.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah.
Yes. And I just respect him. I just respect people who are making their own tables. And not only that, I respect people who not just only make it, but they pull other people up with them. Yeah. And that's why I love Ava DuVernay, because she makes it very clear that it's bigger than her.
Yeah. When I learned she acquired Jezebel, I was just like, way to go.
Me too.
Go.
You have no idea. Because already me admiring my love Numa, that was already a plus, and I'm like, can it get any better? But to add these two force of women together and to see how they interact together and how they're just bosses together, I'm like, this is my first film and I'm working with these two giants. It was great. I'm happy she's champion.
I love it.
The company is absolutely amazing. They really believe in our stories and women of all time.
Tiffany, that is what this whole collective is about. That is what the divine feminine is about. You know, it's about supporting one another and loving one another and undergirding, you know, in such a big way. We want our stories to be protected, to safeguard. You know, I know as a journalist, that's what it means to me. You know, I want people in the industry to know, especially Black talent, to know I'm a safe space. Like when you come to interview with me, this is not for clickbait. This won't be a salacious interview. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not here to cause you to, you know, reach back and think about things that are a disservice to you.
Let me speak on this for a second. I'm not going to get myself into trouble, but I want to say something. What you just said was so powerful, because sometimes you go into these interviews just not knowing the intentions of the person behind it, but to hear you say that, and I feel so taken care of. I feel seen. For you to want to talk to me, like I'm literally just coming onto the scene. Like a lot of people don't know me. For you to reach out to me, that means so much. And I'll tell you a quick story, and I'm not going to get into too many details because I love us, so I won't do that. But I was at an award show.
We got time. I said, we got time.
Okay.
Tell your story.
Okay. So I thought I was never ever going to talk about this, but I'll say this. I was at an award show. Won't say which one. And, you know, it was a mixed crowd. A lot of the white photographers, for example, they wanted to photograph me. They didn't know who I was, but they wanted to photograph me. They were like putting so much eye and love into it. But then when I went up to get an interview, I was hoping to get an interview to be seen, but like I said, no one knows me, so sometimes you can be overseen, right? So I went to get an interview, and a few Black journalists, they ignored me. They ignored me, and I went up to them, literally just like, hi, and I felt myself explaining or proving my worth. Like, I just did this movie, I just did this. And I don't want to get all emotional and stuff, but like that really burned me. So for you to say that, thank you. Not everyone is like that, but thank you. Thank you. So.
Tiffany, you are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. You know, and unfortunately, I believe you because I'm out there and I see what happens. I see what happens. There's so many components that play into this.
Yeah.
You know, as journalists, I'm an independent. I'm my boss. So I get to pick and choose, right? I get to pick and choose. Some journalists don't get to pick and choose.
Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
The way they have to eat is they have to get the most popular person.
They're doing their job
on their carpet. Okay. You know, and unfortunately, because they are not in a position of power and authority, they're not the boss like I am.
Yes.
You have to go with a person whose resume in that moment may look a little bit more appealing than yours.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not always to say that there aren't those journalists who will snub you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people do snub just because they feel like they can snub somebody. Mm-hmm. But in other circumstances, there is a check and there's a producer in their ear.
Yeah.
Telling them that you need to focus on these 4 names on that carpet.
Thank you for explaining this to me. I feel like my world has been lifted because I've been afraid to talk to Black journalists because of that. Not everyone, because I have some great friends out there.
There's a lot that happens, you know, and I'm not trying to let Black journalists completely off of the hook with this, because we do need to look out and talk to everybody that comes on the carpet. If we can, we need to speak to as many Black faces as we can possibly get into that little time frame that we're allotted on the carpet. You know, however, there are so many moving components. There are so many moving components, and I encourage you to try not to take any of it personally, but to count all joy. Exactly. Count all joy.
Okay. And I'm still very thankful to be there. So I was happy to be in the room. I knew I was like a small person and maybe in the room. But
you're never small. You're never small.
Thank you.
Delayed is not denial.
Okay.
Delayed is not denial.
Oh my goodness. Could you say that again, please?
Delayed is not denial. Delayed is not denial.
Wow.
Delayed is not denial. So I'm going to close up this interview with 5 of your favorite songs that you like to come home and decompress to. You know?
Definitely timeless songs. I'm a big fan of Motown. Sometimes I feel like I was born in the wrong generation. I had 5 songs. I'm thinking, it's hard to choose just 5, but as I said, like a group, Motown, Supremes. Okay. Last night, what was that?
I said, okay.
I'm
like, okay.
Yeah, actually, my first dream was to become a singer. That was like a big dream of mine when I was little. Yeah. And
wow.
All of those. So I'm just like, when I used to really study, like I'm like, yes, Motown, but Whitney Houston. I actually have a whole playlist of Whitney Houston to get me through this pandemic. That's just, may she rest in peace.
I was gonna say,
that's my girl.
My fellow Leo sister.
Aww.
Yeah. Can't believe it.
Wait, Leo, did you just have a birthday?
It's coming up. It's next week. It's July 28th.
Happy birthday!
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Do you have any plans yet?
You know what? I'm going to do a staycation. I'm going to go to like a beautiful hotel in Beverly Hills for a few days. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I'm looking at your beautiful painting behind you, and it gives me so much joy. I really see you on vacation right now. Yeah, so beautiful.
The blue just stills me. The blue just keeps me calm. Just keeps me calm.
Blue.
Yeah. Well, Tiffany, this was an amazing interview. I'm so glad that I've had an opportunity to chat with you. You're going
Yeah,
to you're going to do remarkably well. You're going to be outstanding.
thank
You know,
you.
if I could just give you some words of encouragement and some advice, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. You know, don't ever shrink back. Don't ever feel like you don't belong or you're not big enough. You are enough. You are more than enough.
Yeah.
You belong where you believe you belong.
Come on. Okay, I belong where I believe I belong. And the delay is not denial. Was that
Yep.
it?
Yep.
Okay. I love quotes. So thank you. And
Yeah.
can I share one with you?
Sure, please.
Okay. My favorite that I like to live by is when you are your authentic self, you have no competition. When you are no right? When you are your authentic,
I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that.
there's room for all of us. And when you really, really like start to believe that, you can do anything you want to do. It's true.
Tiffany, you know, you're an amazing young woman.
Thank you.
Continued blessings and success. I can't wait to cut and edit this. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to Numa. Do you have representation? I'll make sure your PR gets it too.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't have a PR actually. I just have like an agent and a manager.
Okay. Well, as soon as
Thank
it's cut, I'll make sure everybody on your team gets it.
Okay.
Enjoy your day, my love. Bye-bye.
You're so amazing. Can't wait to see you again on a carpet somewhere.
Hugs
I
for you. Love you.
know. You're so lovely. Thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Bye-bye.